I've always remembered Nami's arc as a point where I officially got hooked on that drug that is One Piece without never knowing why. But now, it's clear to me. This monster Arlong is a pure demon, a sapient slayer like we've never seen before. Don Crieg. So Nami had just left with the Vogue Mary, stealing it, so Usopp and Zoro went after her, while Luffy stayed a bit behind to recruit Sanji on the crew, right? This is where we first meet Arlong literally bribing a Marines officer so he can continue being a menace on the island. Side note, I don't know if Oda stepped like that into the culture, but the colonel looking like a rat is so funny and ironic to me. Right after we meet the little kid whose dad just got murdered by the man himself. Like we're not even settled on the island and we already got some tragic stuff going on. And then he meets Nami at the gates who give him the most heartless, most disgusted look I've ever seen, and she just smacks him with her stick. I'm so sorry, little bro. That's the type of shit that actually builds an MC backstory. Yo, I had really forgotten about how much of a bitch early Nami seemed to be. Like, I remember hitting on her so much before knowing the whole story. Let's finally get to our first example when the fishman hears about Usopp hiding in Nami's village and decides to go there as he already has some business to do. I mean, look at that entrance. The villagers all hiding in their house like... Arlong decides to confront Mr. Funny Hat because apparently someone has a Blakey collection. Fortunately, Gens explains himself and Arlong goes back to his hideout, apologizing for the misunderstanding. He gets grabbed by the neck like a chicken about to get dropped and basically says, "You monkeys are going to keep paying your rent until I make this whole see my bitch, aight?" So Nojiko gets out of their hiding spot along with the villagers and convinces the fisherman to let go of the colonel and to go back to his hideout. Don't tell me you fell for it again. So this funny hat captain, after being bitch, tried to be like, "Be patient, let's play the long game." Some Dalai Lama stuff, right? To which Arlong the Menace responds by, "You know what we do with bugs, right?" And goes to WWE slam him until Usopp and his godly aim come to Gen's rescue. And while the colonel got saved, this shit got Arlong pissed. Here it is. The fisherman goes to the house Usopp is on, squats a little, put his hands in the ground, and deadlifts the whole building out of the ground. I shit you not. Even his men are like, "Bro, we already wiped the whole city earlier. That's good money we're losing." Shit, we win some, we lose some. And Cobra Clutch snake the crib into the next building. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot make this shit up. This is only the beginning, and the BAFE on this man already exceed anyone we've seen so far in the anime. I just cannot imagine being a villager in this case, grinding to pay your rent every month like you're supposed to, just for Black Pinocchio to come and piss off Masa and get your house destroyed like... Well, this concludes example number 1. I'd love to say this was it, but the next one goes even crazier. Example 2 come when the little bopper from earlier informed Nojiko about some marine branch coming to save the villagers from the ghost town who got destroyed. A bunch of them coming to the coast, all smiling that the marine finally came to the rescue. Meanwhile, Big Arlong is chilling and says to his men, "If 2 million ain't enough for them, just wipe them out." While they're talking, the marine just sends a whole cannonball flying towards Arlong Park that the sapient slayer proceeds to catch and defuse with his bare jaw. Not even John does shit like that. What are the Marines supposed to do? Can we take the time to think back to all that happened? Like, Arlong's having such a bad day. First Usopp, then the Marine, and much more to come. Like, the ops aren't even leaving him no time to chill. The Slayer's like, "I had enough," and since he stopped going to the boat. And when I tell you this shit was hilariously lopsided, I mean it. All 3 swim to the boat and the Commodore start talking like some royalty. Blah blah elite this, blah blah special. Not shooting while your opponent's stalking is like rule 14 of the enemy rulebook. But they do not seem to care at all. I haven't even talked about the 2 others. While one is ripping, yes, ripping the bottom of the ship, the other one is making a literal water typhoon which sank the whole boat in 30 seconds in front of the helpless villagers, including the men on the boat. I swear, someone, please check on little bro. He actually might start tripping. Nojiko's like, "I told so." She already had lost all hope of liberation. It's actually pretty sad if you think about it. So that, my friends, was example 2. But if you thought this shit was bad, the last 2 will blow your mind. Example 3 has to do with Nami's infamous deal with the Sapient Slayer, buy back her village for $100 million, which at that point, she's almost done with. This bothers him because, as we all know, Nami's map and cartography skills are actually top tier. Sadly, he's a man of his words, so he starts to look for someone to replace her. Y'all gotta stop falling for this shit. The second he could, the bastard went and snitched on Nami so the rat colonel could come and steal her money right before she collects it all. You can't make this shit up. Like, in conversation about cruelty in One Piece, Arlong gets left out way too easily. Y'all are not going to sweep him under the rug by clown gunner when I know damn well most of y'all will be eating that McDonald's the second it hits the table. The last one is probably the one y'all remember the most. What you might not remember is how unprovoked it really was. Nami grew up with her adoptive mother, Belmare, an ex-marine who, when about to die, rescued both her and Nojiko then adopted them. Although they grew up poor, she did everything in her power to give them a decent life. But then...
everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Oh wait, wrong show. Everything changed when the Fishman pirate attacked. Look at the pirates pulling up like they're the IRS or something. Even though Belmare put up a good fight, her mistake was to put her chef in his mouth without shooting her...
What did he say?
Her mistake was to put the gun in his mouth without shooting. There we go. Enough of the jokes, cause the next part, even now, I feel like the 10th time watching, still makes my heart break. As the pirates were about to leave, Belmare, after many conflicts and doubt about what's a real family, couldn't stop herself from acknowledging the existence of her two daughters in front of the fishmen, even though she couldn't afford their taxes, which, you guessed it, got her killed in front of Nojiko and Nami. Guess who immediately started dying of laughter? If that doesn't seal the debate of whether or not this man has BAFD or not, I do not know what will convince y'all. This arc was really heavy-hearted, but for some great fun and action, check out this Bullocks video I dropped and I will catch you on the next one.